Come on and give a shit.
Okay, so we start every podcast with the first song that comes to your mind, and then we have to squishify it.
Now I have the ba-da-ba-ba-ba in my head.
I know.
That is not what I want.
That's the only part of that song that I know, and I think it's
not
heavily
what we want
trademarked,
there.
so let's just avoid it at all
Yeah.
costs.
Damn. First song that comes to mind. This is one of those things where it's think of a word and you're just like, I don't know any words.
I've
never
said a
known
word in my life.
Yeah,
Never
that's
known a
just,
word.
yeah.
It's okay.
This
It
happens to me all the time.
And
too.
I am telling you,
I'm
not
not
going. Oh, squish it.
You're the best squish.
I've ever squished.
There's no way I could
Ever squished.
No, there's no way. No way. I'm squishing without you.
I'm not squishing without you. I don't wanna be squished.
I'm staying.
I'm staying.
And you, and you, and you, you're gonna squish me. You're gonna squish me.
Yes,
You're so cute.
Thank you, Dani Jackson. Guess who's
Oh,
here?
good.
Finally. I was going to say back, and I was
It's
like,
happening.
this is time one. Welcome, Dani Jackson to Squish.
That's
Finally. I think we reference you every single episode.
Yeah, you come up a lot.
honestly.
You come up in conversation a lot.
I like that.
I think there's like a lot of intersection of like
Yeah, we
my
talk about our
experience in the music community and Katie's experience in the community. There's a Venn diagram, and on the interlapping thing, it's just Dani Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's definitely an overlap of a few people, but Danny's definitely one of the main ones for sure.
Totally. The only one that matters.
Most important.
You know, like the community of this town is so like small but also big, right? So if you're in a couple of bands over a couple of years, it's like you end up in everybody's house
Totally.
at some point.
Yeah.
How many people were in fucking Leg Up? There was 10,000 of us,
many,
and
yes.
then
Blase.
the Blase boys, and then they've
Anytime-
all been a band. Like it's
Yeah,
just,
Anytime
that's
you're
the thing.
in a band over 3 people too, it's like you're with those people and their partners and their friends and their
Yeah.
partners' friends, and then eventually that's just That's all of Victoria.
It's everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why I always
Yeah.
say Victoria's 1 degree of separation, if that.
Yeah.
It's like everyone, there's no 6 degrees of separation here, for sure.
That's why the poly scene is so disgusting.
Foul.
Incestuous.
This is actually a
There's a lot of
poly
incestuous
hate
scenes.
podcast.
The music scene is just as incestuous.
It really is.
We're here to squish the I don't know, the expectation that it's fine. The expectation that
Nothing
anything's
is
fine.
fine.
You'd think we'd be really into it because it's a squish
It's
podcast.
fine.
We're all like touchy feely, but actually it's all about
Yes,
stay the fuck away from me.
Oh my
The
god.
fuck away from me.
Okay, Dani Jackson, you're a singer, songwriter, sexy beast extraordinaire, community goddess. I'm going to just pull things out of the top of my head. I feel like you are a beautiful, like, energy presence on stage that I personally look up to because you, like, interact with the crowd. You give them shit, and then they give it back, and then it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And I totally resonate with that from both of you when I watch you guys, like, host on stage. And I love seeing powerful women fronting bands of sexy boys that'll like give you space and respect you, and it's beautiful, and I've definitely tried to pursue that image in my life. I also really like the way that you hold space in your home, and I feel like you are like a beautiful intersection of the queer community, and you have really safe spaces for weirdos. Not that all queer people are weirdos. We're a bunch of different people. But I really admire all those things about you, and would love.
Danny's definitely good at holding space in her home.
Yeah.
To know Danny is to be fed by Danny, and that is definitely a blessing.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of really nice stuff. Yeah, I don't. So okay, holding space. I always just say to you guys, I give as good as I just give back what I get. So life is really hard and scary and both long and short, and I just feel like if you're not making life easier for people around you or better for people around you, then you're not living right.
Yeah.
So I get off on making you guys happy
Yeah.
and introducing people that I love to other people that I love, and watching, like, it's selfish, really, and just, like, creating my own fucking pals,
People who are
Good Buds army. You
People
know?
who are comfortable in their selfishness and their self-love, realistically, there should be no shame in that. It's like, you want to be around it because we all want to love ourselves that much. And someone once said this to me in comparison to my cat. They said, Kiwi is just like you. She just wants to love and be loved. And I feel like that's the three of us. We just want to give love big, and we want to receive love big, and we're not afraid to, like, ask for it and give it in return.
And that's the thing too, is like, because when you're someone who, like, gives it out hard, like, it can deplete you if you're not met with people who give it back and not everyone
matched.
and it's like, you can go through ebbs and flows where not everyone is in the state to give it back in that moment, but you have enough of people in your community that understand that, like, care and be cared for connection. You're not ever on empty because someone is always there making sure that it's refilled. Whereas we get into a pattern of a lot of those situations sometimes where we're giving it out and it's not being refilled, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, but also giving it back to yourself and like knowing how to match your own export with your own import. And I feel like you've got a lot of that self-care down as well. So you're definitely a person I want all my friends to know. Just like Katie, I'm just like, you guys, my friends need to know people like you, and I want to, like,
something the three of us all have in common. We're like, we just want all our friends to be friends.
Very extroverted in this little squishness. But I'd love to pick your brain a little bit on, we just have been interviewing every kind of person in the Victoria art scene, and I'd love to hear a bit about your story into coming into this music scene, art scene, but also just, like, being an artist, period, and, like, how that started for you. And you can go from day one. I don't really give a shit. I just want to hear your story a little bit more.
So, like, I came into it somewhat accidentally, really. So growing up, I played classical piano and hated it, and always enjoyed singing. I was, like, walking around the house always singing, and my mom would get really pissed off at me because she'd be talking to me and I'd be, like, singing. She was like, listen to me, and I was like, I can hear you. I'm just fucking singing, Mom. I didn't put together the fact that it's extremely rude to sing in someone's face while they're trying to talk to you. And so I eventually started, like, going to karaoke, and then moved to Montreal, and
The ultimate gateway drug. Montreal karaoke. We said this with Sasha.
it was, like, that's when I got pretty serious about my karaoke. And then moved out to Vancouver, and I would go to the Legion on Main and 22nd every Wednesday for $1.60 beers karaoke night. And I went religiously. So we had a whole, like, community of, like, our karaoke bros from, like, New West, and it was a whole thing. Ron, the karaoke dude, was my guy.
Ron!
There was Ron was cool. He's this British dude, and then his wife is, like, a prison guard. Like,
I love these
they're
stories.
awesome. And there was, like, a karaoke contest, and I won, so I won, like, $500. And
yeah!
it was dope. Okay. So when I moved to Victoria, I moved into a house with a guy who was in a band and was just, like, always pulling bands together. And initially, I didn't do anything musically with him, really. I went to a party, and they were, like, jamming, and I was singing on the mic. And one of the guys there was like, hey, I'm starting a band. Do you want to join it? So I did. And so we were called Warbuck, and we were a band for a couple years, maybe.
What kind of music?
Alt, rocky, angsty shit.
Yeah.
And then after that ended, I joined Leg Up with my roommate at the time, and Katie, and 10,000 other people. And yeah, so it's always just been fun for me. I just really enjoy singing. It's something that, like, makes me comfortable and happy, and it's just an outlet for joy or sad. In terms of, I don't really consider myself, like, a creative person in a weird way. I struggle so much with writing or the type of thing. If someone's, what's your drag name be? I'm like, I don't know.
You are your drag person. I feel like
The drag name would be Dani fucking
like more
Moon.
to it. That's a big ask. Yeah,
I struggle to, like, come up with things, and so writing is the bane of my fucking existence.
Does it feel like
You're like a slow burn creative. It's there. It's just it just doesn't fall out of your face the way it does with other people. And I've said this come up before in conversation. Another member of our band, Part-Time Steve, his writing style was similar. Like, he'd have to go away and think about it for a while, and you'd have to leave him the fuck alone. And if you asked him too many times, like, it would probably take him longer. But, like, then when he would come back, it would be fucking gold. And he'd be like, oh, this is so good. This is so fun to sing. And Dani was very similar. Like, she would have to go away and think about it. and really be in the headspace or mood to have something coming out, and then it would come out and you come back, oh, it's so good.
I'm so insecure about things that I write because I feel like I always write the same thing over and over, like bad love gone wrong, and it feels really cliche.
Write what you know.
And so and so I hate on my own shit so much,
Yeah,
and
same.
like
I feel
often
you.
write something and I'm like garbage and throw it out before I've even let anybody like.
Okay,
So I
we're
have to
critical.
show other people.
We're self-critical.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just like, ew. But then sometimes it's dope, like you said. But I really have to sit down, like, by myself and fucking focus forever. I often listen to something over and over and over and over until my brain does something.
Yeah, you gotta get into a writing trance. And
Exactly.
then you're just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, because I just, just
Yeah.
it ain't me. So that's frustrating because I feel like
a bit of imposter syndrome.
yeah, I guess I
feel like your gift is like the space you hold in the moment. It's put you on a stage and put you with an audience, and your art is the interaction with those people. And it's the joy. It's the channel of joy, and people love to look at that. And I struggle with this too because I don't really write any words to any of our songs with our band because I just go with the moment and what the moment's giving. And that's a gift. It's like a channel, but it does feel silly because I haven't methodically processed this and sat down and like logically listed out all my words. It's all ba-doop-a-da when I get in the moment. And if there's a cutie in the crowd, it's going to be really good because I'm trying to impress them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that resonates, but
it does. It totally does.
Yeah, no, I've definitely felt that's a lot of how I've written in the past too. And if it isn't captured somewhere, then I might not be able to recreate the same thing twice.
Yeah.
But like that's why I just started recording as much as possible so that I could listen back and write down whatever came out naturally.
Yeah.
And then that would be my starting off point. And I definitely struggled with like actually sitting down and writing stuff. I hate that process still. But I've been hating it less now that I've been playing more with you.
Cool.
But it's a little bit easier to sit down and
You're
write
someone
it out.
that's like it's funny that you say that because like you're really good at freestyling, and to me that is writing. That's I cannot freestyle. Like it's not because I don't have words. Words don't exist here. But you are so good at that. Just
I don't know what happens. It's not even that I have the words. It's just that I like open up a thing and stuff comes out. It's like it's like a weird like channel to something. And sometimes it'll be like I've absorbed conversations from the afternoon or the people around or the energy in the room or whatever. It's like weird in that way, and that's partly why I don't remember it after.
Yeah,
and then
you're
so
in a
it's like
blackout.
So then but then and that's where it's a downstairs. People will be like, oh, you're so good, you're so great, something for this, and then I'll when someone asks me to write something for a song of theirs, I'll sit down and I'm like, I know no words, but it's one of those
really
things.
Dependent on the container that you're in, and I'm curious to ask you and your experience in a couple different kinds of bands, which one's been the one that you feel like helps you channel your like real truest energy the most?
this one for sure, Blase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blase for sure.
I think that I feel like I really came out with Blase.
Yeah.
And actually, I gotta give Jesus some like the credit here because he was very like when we started playing, he was like, Dani, you're gonna be the person. You're gonna be the front person. You're just gonna do the talking. So you just go talk. And I was like, what? Because with Leg Up, there's everybody wanted to fucking say something. There's 15 people in the band. There's several vocalists. There's people
Rappers.
there's rappers. There's dude with a guitar and a microphone for some reason. And shade. Full shade.
The wink I just got from Katie. She's like, you don't even need to know.
Like, and everybody, they would talk over each other. So it was like, and I found it really obnoxious and it was gross. And so I would sing, but in terms of talking, it wasn't a thing. Just like...
You weren't given any space.
Exactly.
Totally.
And everybody wanted to be the fucking mouth, and it was just like, you guys go ahead and do that. So then when I joined Blase, and Jesus was like, all right, you talk. I was like, but I don't know how to do these things. What? But now it's like a whole persona. Like, Jesse said that I have a stage character, and... I recognize that I do. I'm like
a little
super
bit.
nervous.
It's just
and
a
shy.
version of you. It's a version of you I see sometimes, but it's a version of you that only comes out sometimes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like. It's not like a full character, but it's like definitely.
I just
like
think it's
a hammed up Dani.
It's you when you're the most on, because that's the space that asks the most of you, and then you show up for that, and that's like a gift. And if anyone gets the opportunity for someone to be like, you're the person who gets to talk on the microphone, take it! Because it does us so much.
Teaches you a
so
lot.
validating.
It teaches you a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that for sure. I would agree completely as someone who watched and fangirled when you got back into a project because it was just like, oh, like Danny's got to be in something at some point, and like. Then Blase started being a thing, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then, but even from the beginning of Blase till the last show I saw of you guys, like, seeing you fully come out and just, like, be you is, like, such a dope thing to watch happen more.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. It's fun. It's a cool feeling. And I'm always nervous before I get up on stage. And there have been shows like when I played Jazz Fest last year, like, my baby Manny was, like, and I was so sad. I was like crying before I got up on stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bitch, go.
Yeah, you just gotta do it sometimes.
It really is amazing how like a good audience can like really bring you back to
it's
life.
the energy exchange. They're like
Yeah.
giving you all this energy, and you're like, okay, I can go now. I'm getting fuel from you guys.
Totally.
This is great.
It's quite a high. I'm curious if you have the same experience a lot of us do, where if you are like on stage, it's big up. Do you ever have a big down after?
So I don't know if you guys have noticed. After every show, I run away and hide. I never, ever get off stage and go out to hang out with people. I always disappear for like hours because
Into the
I
green
have
room
to,
to
like,
squeeze Chelsea's titties.
Yeah.
You're like stressful.
Yeah.
And then they
It
help.
works.
Shout out
It's
Chelsea's
effective.
But like I have to decompress. I have to come down.
Totally. That's a healthy response, I think.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
similar, but I want to beeline outside, so by default, I end up getting stuck talking to people on the way out the door
oh God,
because I
it's
want
like
the cold
the
air.
nightmare
I
to
want to
me.
get outside immediately.
I
Danny's,
cannot-
I'm gonna go hide backstage. I'm like, I need to get outdoors.
And I feel bad because sometimes it'll be like
People come.
someone's coming to see me and it's like, yeah, your show was great. And I'm like, perform and I'm like singing at them or whatever. And then I go backstage and I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Literally.
I'm not coming back out. I am so sorry.
You just gave so much of yourself, though. It's weird. You have to like feel like you have to give yourself all of that energy on stage and then keep giving after is actually not sustainable.
It is not.
This is what I'm learning when I'm like, I'm going to host an event that I'm also going to perform at. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to pay someone to host it for me, and I'm going to perform.
I find a hard
at
time like focusing after that moment too, because it's like my ADHD, my eyes want to look everywhere in the room. There's so many noises going on. My brain is just thinking, get outside, and there's someone trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
your brain's that song, run.
yeah, dude, seriously, that's what it's like. It's exactly it. And so yeah, that's one of those things. I get it. But it's been
a healthy response, I think.
But it's good when you have a band of people who support you and who are like holding you in such a good way. Like it was one thing that like when we talked about like anxieties working with new people and whatnot, Danny was like, no, this was something you said to me that you were like, no, that's really healing for me working with this group of people and just how they are, and like times where I felt like I need to like apologize for things and they're like, what are you apologizing for? Like that's fucking ridiculous.
Like, no, that's not a thing. You don't have to feel bad for that. Or, it's such a contrast from
and I thought it was nice to
see.
see, but then next level to actually experience it, because I filled in for you at the Fernfest show, and I remember saying to Danny after, I was like, I get it now, because like I've seen them in action and like how supportive they are and how like loving they are. It was a whole different lovely experience.
Yeah, because I mean it was nothing but contention and grief and nightmares with our old band. And it was unnecessary, and it just like when like looking back, it's like, how do you communicating with people that way is like so unnatural and so
we
strange.
had good times and good memories, but in spite of all of the crazy.
Exactly, because like we recreated those good times
Yeah.
and forced them to happen ourselves in spite of everything else. But with Blase, they're just so reasonable. It's like we're like, oh, everybody respects each other. Everyone's like approachable and assumes the best. Like it's always like benefit of the doubt, constantly given.
It's like music should be nourishment instead of a fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
It was also the first
tool
time
for
for me when I
community.
subbed in for Danny. It was the first time anyone's ever like taking a measured approach to like how they're like giving me a portion of the show, because like, you're not like an equity holding member. You're not investing in this project regularly, so here's whatever. And I was like, that was nice. It was like that was a nice feeling to come and do that thing and then be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things where I'm like glad to see that happening and glad to see it flourishing.
Good to know it exists.
And like,
at all.
and to a point where Danny's telling me about new things she's written, and I'm like, hell yeah. That's like that's just full
You
circle
have to
healing.
feel really safe to be able to like fully express,
it's
especially
so
if it's
true.
a struggle at all, and if you've got fucking drama
Yeah.
from having that feel like a shameful or a scary situation, because you're always going to be vulnerable in that position, and it sucks when you're younger and you are in those positions. You're so grateful to be doing music at all.
Yeah.
And then people assume that because it's so scarce, it needs to be hard. And
Yeah.
it's, what if
Yeah.
it was just easy? It's
Why
still
can't
special, even if
It
it's
just
easy.
be easy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it doesn't have to be a fucking...
Doesn't have to be a struggle, and that's the industry in a whole
hassle,
too. Whether
yeah.
it's performing it or working in the event space
Yeah.
or anything like.
Artists, we're all vulnerable,
Can
and
be
we're all
easier
scared.
than it has to be.
And that's why I'm like, let's just sit down and talk about our feelings as artists, and then hopefully more artists will sit down and talk about their feelings as artists, and then more people will sit down and talk about their feelings
Exactly. And
as
like
artists.
experiences
It's
and
like-
transparent, experiences. And
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really fucking awesome experience working with the Blase Boys, and Isaac is so supportive.
He loves you.
He's so observant. He sees a lot, and he's got a good brain. So having just like even his additional extra support, because the band is supportive. But
Yeah,
like,
Isaac
even
is a sweetie.
like it's really cool. It's been really good. It makes me feel even worse about not being a good writer because I want to give them so much. You know? I'm like, I want to give you the fucking best shit ever, and I'm like, I can't. And
But see, I think you are a good writer. It's just blocked. It's just your process. Like, you just have to give time for your process, and you don't have the time. That's the problem. It's not. It's
Yeah,
that
you're busy.
your process needs slow, like, time, and life as it is doesn't allow for that.
that is true.
It is a gift.
You just need to be like, if you didn't have to work all the day and you could just be like tits out in your garden, you'd be writing fucking crazy shit
Like
all
writing
the
operas.
time. Yeah. Danny be like, I wrote 6 albums this month because I've just been gardening with my tatas out, and it's fabulous, darling.
The vitamin D on my areolas really
It is
helps spark my
hard.
creative process.
It's so hard, but also it's really a gift to have a group of people that encourage you in a positive way to challenge yourself at all. I think that those are the most healthy creative relationships.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
just to be around people like Isaac who know way more than anyone reasonable will ever know, because he knows an unreasonable
Oh god,
amount.
he has just so many fucking facts in his brain. It's
Trust
wild.
me, I feel that way where I'm like, if I wrote you a song and it's only 17 chords, you're not going to be super impressed, but he does have the ability to see both as valuable, and it's mostly just like the energy that you put in. If it's like genuine, then it resonates, and that's all that really matters. But I feel you with that, but I just know that being around people that like ask that of themselves, it's going to encourage that to ask that of myself a little bit, which can be scary, but you do have to give yourself the time to like to actually pursue that, and I definitely don't pursue it as much as I could either. And I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of jazz nerds they practice an hour a day, and I just show up to practice. I might have written like a couple lyrics, but like they've been practicing like the whole time, and I guess I get to feel like as valuable by doing all of the admin work, and
Which is
you bring a
extremely
lot to the
important.
table.
It's a
That's
big
like a
deal.
The
huge
social
thing.
media, everything.
it's a big deal. Yeah,
Promo, throwing your own events.
you gotta find ways.
wrangling the cats, herding the cats.
Totally. You gotta find ways of balancing that out. And I think the emceeing that you do is the glue that holds it all together. It channels the whole performance.
Yeah, if a frontman
and
doesn't
should
interact with the
never
audience, I get bored.
overlooked. Them without you is just blood.
Without interaction with the audience, you just feel more like
No
background
hate.
music.
Good.
They're really good.
They're all great musicians, but I feel like
We
you
can
need
hype
that
you up.
interaction with the audience
Yeah,
in general too.
yeah.
Like even the way that like Guillaume, when he's playing, will sometimes interact with the audience in his own way
Yeah.
with his hair flips and his
Oh my
fucking.
god, he
He's
matches
always
your
asking the
diva-ness,
audience
actually.
for a
He's
nail
such a
file.
diva. He's
It's
always
so
trying to
great.
fuck everybody from the stage.
Can
It's
you
great.
file my nails, darling? My nails.
Talking about areolas.
I love him. He's a gooder.
Okay, I'm curious. So, how long have you been performing in Victoria?
Oh man, so I've been here for 15 years now, which is psychotic to say. So yeah, like 15 years, because the year that I moved here was when I joined Warbuck,
Okay.
the first band,
Damn.
and then from that into the Leg Up program, and then I think there's probably just like a few months between
Wow.
that and like when I started jamming with Jesus and
Yeah.
Guillaume and Teus. That was 2019, and then the panini rolled in.
The panini.
And
Weird times.
we had to take a little mini break for that reason, but yeah, so that was it's been consistent.
How do you think you've seen the live music scene shifting in Vic? Because it's definitely bigger now, but it's also
It's bigger
way
and-
less supported.
Exactly.
So,
It's
like,
really
yeah.
it's like the city is working against us, and it's like a shame because there's such a huge live music scene. Like there's so many bands. There's so much
So much
potential.
love.
Exactly.
So much talent.
There's so much talent.
Yeah.
And the city is just actively shutting down any facilities and any access
Or
to being able to
overly
provide
mandated.
these. Yeah, and it makes it so difficult. And then you also have places like Vancouver, where we would love to go. We've played a couple times in Vancouver. We'd love to go over, but where the fuck do you play in Vancouver? It's the scene is growing, but it's shrinking at the same time, because where do we go?
Totally. We were just talking about this today because the Coda, which is a city-funded event space, charges $1,100 as a flat rate before
What?
hiring any of the staff to
yeah.
rent their room.
It's
That
absurd.
sucks.
We were looking
What?
into playing a show there, and
Matt Dell, what the fuck?
it's poor Matt Dell.
I shouted him out on the podcast before.
Honestly,
Poor guy.
He's a
We
sweetheart.
stand-
He puts
So
up,
I
he
love
puts
Matt
up
Dell,
with
and I
my shit.
cannot
He does.
deal with the
He puts
fucking
up with my
like
shit for sure.
raw-
a
Leave them alone.
city-funded space that's not even a private business should not be asking artists to shell out that
And
much
that's an
crazy.
absurd amount of money. $1,100
for one show, which you're lucky to make $1,100 at all.
at all.
But this is the thing that makes venues not last, because then no one get there and then go, oh, it was unsustainable.
Well, this
Yeah,
is the
no one
thing.
can fucking afford to rent your room.
You guys
know?
were gonna book there, and then you
And we
didn't.
didn't, yeah.
And we just got like a show offer,
You can-
and we're
you
not
can
gonna go
You
there.
can even put a clause in where it's here's the minimum rate. If the show does over and above X whatever, then we take an
Then-
extra cut.
But
like
flat
fuck,
That
out
doesn't
flat
even
rate,
that
$1,100
doesn't even
like-
come with monitors or a sound guy. You
Yeah,
have to
that's
rent
nuts.
your sound tech,
That's
and you have to
nuts.
bring your own gear.
Like what?
That's nuts.
What
is
are we
the
paying
point?
for?
What, I thought
What is the
Dakota had a
point?
sound system.
They have a PA. They don't have monitors.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, so what we've decided to do is this is just word of mouth. I can't technically post about this, but we're gonna play a show on top of Mount Doug.
Cool.
somewhere.
Amazing.
And we're just gonna get all of our friends to climb up the mountain, and we're gonna have all of our gear there. And if we get fined, it's gonna be cheaper than the Coda.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
God, I love that
that
so
is
We're
much.
gonna
so
start
funny.
playing outdoor shows and just.
That very Ollie downtown mischief.
I'm
thing.
Yeah,
literally
renegade fucking-
I'm
If we
DMing him
if we
tonight
get if
to
we
be
get
like,
fined, it's just cheaper than whatever. Yeah.
That's
But,
so
like-
so
True.
sad that's
Sad, but it's
happening.
true.
That's so sad.
That's also the point, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
our venues are so inaccessible that it's because we lost the VEC this year, we've lost the hallway, we've lost a bunch of other like the smaller ones that you can just book really easily.
Who took over the back?
And they're used to their, but I feel like venues are.
Paparazzi.
Oh yeah, no, I know. That's the whole nightmare.
They're just gonna do the same thing, like a literally show and a DJ. That's it. That's all it'll be now.
But I'm curious, like how you've seen the venue scene change in those 15 years, because I know that venues are just a fluid state. They're always changing because it's really hard to run an arts space.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple friends that are trying to start with our kind of collective, totally together collective vibe, an art space that we can like use as a venue space, as like a market share space. I'm just trying to like learn as much as possible. So I'm curious how you've seen, because you've probably seen a lot of venues come and go in this town, both of you.
Well,
Yeah.
Dani used to work at the Strath, so she's seen from the inside of that one.
I worked in the hotel though, so I didn't really have much insight into the functioning of the
Stage.
bars and whatnot. But yeah, it's like Victoria is a city that like needs tourism. It needs to have a draw. We don't like. It's very pretty here, yes, but outside of that, what are people coming here
Vanilla
for?
ice cream.
Like
It's vanilla ice cream.
exactly, we need something to put some fucking sprinkles to put on this city,
Yeah.
and so the live music is such a draw for people. And if they could get their shit together and really invest in supporting that, then this place could.
The irony, though, and not sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but it just really is in the front of my mind that they just changed the busking policy in the city to try and support the musicians. The city's version of supporting the musicians is putting a curfew. We can't busk after 10 anymore.
Know what?
So you can't legally busk.
The bar
when
hours are
bars
the
come
best
out.
time.
Exactly.
That's when people tip the most.
Yeah, you
That's bullshit.
have to have your license, and you can only busk in specific locations. It's like, how is that helping?
That's
You're
less
like,
helpful.
We're
than
gonna make
before.
it
That's
more
helping.
restrictive.
And also, they don't
Okay.
even do the harbor shit anymore
And
like
this
they
is
used
just,
to.
it's
the fuck?
bureaucracy not understanding how to support the arts, which realistically, supporting the arts is just get your fucking hands off of it.
Get
Yeah.
away from
Stop
us.
touching
Shut-
it. Leave
Let us do
alone.
our thing,
We've been
yeah.
doing this for time immemorial.
Yeah, we
Just
can
let
handle
them
it. We
play.
don't need it. It's
And, like,
not
at
let's
least
support the arts.
ask
It's like
for-
let's make money off the arts.
And
Yeah.
how about getting some insight from the people that are actually doing it? Because clearly
So-
they did not. Like, who do they speak to?
This-
Who was like, oh, it'd be easy, but better if you gave us less time, made it more restrictive. And like, how is this the
I don't know.
the game? How
And
is
then,
this,
and then
like,
they're trying to like
solution?
flaunt that they have like a new busking program. So like, you want to busk? Get excited to busk in Victoria, as if like they're trying, like, they're like trying to use it. And this is the thing, is like, I sit here and I complain about it, and this is the thing, is they don't talk to us, but we need to talk to them. So there are ways of building an artist's table, and you can get people like Matt Dell involved, and we can fucking complain to them, which we're going to do, but then it's time out of our day to fix their fucking shit. And again, it's stupid, but Isaac he's gonna try and build an artist table.
And Matt Dell's one person in support of it, but he's only one voice on a council of many.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you can have,
connect
And
us.
he does his best. He really does.
He does.
oh yeah, he's definitely passionate about it. It's good to have more people like that and that care, and that there's been a few different counselors over the years that have really cared about the arts in one way or another, and it's hard too to be that lone voice in there, especially being like, the more that the city gets just taken over by people who want to like investment property in Airbnb it and not fucking live here or commit to like,
I don't
then they don't want to
like,
put their taxes into anything, so they all vote against shit that helps the city because they don't actually fucking live here.
It's and I just Airbnb properties for what? If people don't want to fucking come here because there's nothing to goddamn do,
Then you're not gonna
then
make
what the
no
fuck? Who are
money.
you renting your fucking place out to?
Yeah.
It's unsustainable, and it's pissing me off because it doesn't make sense. And if you know what, I can't.
We don't have to.
I did this thing,
I don't
it's
even
one of those
have
things
to.
where, like, when people come to town and they're like, what is there to do here? Your downtown seems really quiet. And I'm like, yeah, it's gotten quiet. A lot of shit's underground. I'm like, here's some Instagrams to follow. Mostly it's house parties and private events and shit that, like, rent out spaces and warehouses and do
we
their
all
own thing. And then...
move into apartments and we can't host anymore.
Exactly, yeah. And then you
But
get
this is
kicked
why
out of your place
I'm
or
trying
whatever.
really hard to connect with the like oldie music scene. So we had this awesome woman named Heather reach out for our music village at Otherworld this year, and she's connecting me with 100 of her music friends that are in like the soul blues, like the awesome oldies community. So I'm hoping to like
Yeah, they're so
get
cool.
connected.
Doug is cool.
Doug's
He's been emailing
awesome.
like crazy. He's emailing about jams all the time. Yeah.
And that's the thing, they've been jamming in this town for 50 years, like 40
Yeah, he has
years.
an email thread at whatever you can just sign up for, and he'll just send you little things like, we're doing this jam at this place, or we're doing a barbecue jam at this place, or
And it's been happening in Victoria forever, and I'm like, those are the people we need to connect with. Probably they'll have properties that we can use to like host events on, and we just need to like all actually work together. And I'm really hoping that like through our project at Otherworld, like building a middle micro town just for the live musicians, built by live musicians, can show us that we all have the skills necessary to run our own infrastructures.
we
And
need a hippie music commune.
yeah, but also we can fucking take over the fucking bureaucratic shit. We just have to know how to get involved and know how to like work together and communicate and all these things that I'm like,
And work around their bullshit.
prove it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the Coda is such an epic failure. Like when they're like, "We're buying it, we're gonna buy it," like I was so excited. Everybody was
too.
so excited. It was like, "Oh my god, this is
Definitely,
like
like,
be
yay.
amazing for us. This is like finally something good." And then
PR.
$1,100. Suck my dick.
What
Like,
kind of like artist can do that? TK is having his album release show,
Yeah.
and he could only rent the front room, and I think he can only rent it for 2 hours. So we're playing a 20-minute set.
Wow.
And he's
Does that
played
include your
Phillips.
teardown?
He played the backyard.
he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Open.
And actually, like we were
That's the
initially
thing. It doesn't matter who you are, which size. If you put blood, sweat, and tears and paid the dues that they've been telling us to pay forever in this industry, you pay the dues in this town, you've been fucking grinding it here forever, that you should fucking get a break, man. Like, you should be able to, like, make some shit happen for other people.
Yeah. Blase, we were going to play with, we were going to do a show with TK at Coda.
Oh my god.
And obviously that didn't work out. And I'm really stoked that he's doing it. But I think, so what, the small room is something like $800, I think, to rent it. Like, it's like, again, also expensive as fuck. And it's a much smaller room.
It's probably the
And-
size of Little Fernwood, which is $25 an hour to rent. And this is like $250 an hour for the
It's
same size. It's really
ridiculous.
bonkers because they have the notoriety. I don't know, man.
Like, do they?
It's like, why are you trying to profit off artists, bro? That's not the people you need
And
to
then,
profit.
but they tilt their hat, put on their, like,
Yeah.
hero cape.
We did it.
And fuck us over.
We
Like,
did it.
absolutely
Anyways.
useless. Yeah, the city is frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
I think we're resilient,
Municipality
and
bylaw
we're
bullshit.
trying our
Yes.
best, and we're doing, you know,
Artists
what
will
we
always
can.
find a way to make art, and we'll do it in a renegade fashion, or we'll do it with working with them. It's up to them.
It's true.
Your choice, motherfucker.
It's your choice, motherfucker.
We can do this
I'm
the
just
easy
gonna-
way, or we can do this the hard way, and we
Stop
can
and
show up in whatever parking lot we want to and just play shows.
Did you say Oh yeah, I would love to play. But this is also the thing is we're like, let's play mountaintops. Let's fucking tour the island, and then every city we go to, we just find a hill.
Yeah.
And we go to the top of the fucking hill.
Hilltop
and
jam
then
sessions.
Instead
That's
of
a great idea.
yeah,
I
instead
love
of the
it.
Grateful
We do,
Dead,
between
we
all of us,
literally
we have a
like
lot
a
of
following of
battery-powered-
hikers that just are dedicated.
Yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
up. It's not like the most successful.
We do have a lot of
but-
battery powered things.
Yeah, well, at least Mount Doug has the road. Like, my grandma's gonna come to that show, and
cute.
it's gonna be real fucking sweet. But I know that you said you can't, as in maybe we don't dig this hole forever. So I was wondering if you wanted to get into a much happier topic of the dating scene here in Victoria.
Oh my god, that segue was crazy. That segue was so crazy the mic peaked on that cackle. That was fucking funny.
Oh my god, you're
I
hilarious.
think
was the most
you have lots of
unhinged.
good things to say.
Yeah, oh my
and
God.
we were just talking, like, Katie and I recorded an episode, and it's really funny because since last
Talk a lot about
episode that we talked about, which was basically like how do we ethically fuck all our friends, we reached out to you and you said that you really want to talk about like just being like single for life, and then since that conversation you've chosen that life, and I've literally got engaged. So it's just really fun to be at
Polar
opposite ends of the
opposites.
spectrum.
So true.
And
That's
also
funny.
Katie's been like living your best life, have some really fun stories, and I'm just like, we're coming into summer and we're coming into like the scene, and also going to shows and like being like a musician
Feeling
on
a sense of abundance
stage.
and good energy, and whether that's whatever path we're choosing, we're all feeling that abundance in one way or another.
Yeah.
And sometimes that sense of abundance and confidence comes from just deciding I'm fucking done with this shit, like Dani. and
Totally,
that's, like,
but also being so fulfilled by that, and so
Absolutely.
fulfilled
Like,
by our
Dani's
musical
always been that way.
relationships.
I-
Yeah.
well,
Well, I mean, for a long time,
Obviously.
it's always been something that inspired me. Was that how much like you were always like, I can take it or leave it because like my life is good and I'm fucking dope as fuck. So whatever.
Honestly, so that happened after Simon, and not to say that Simon.
Shout out
like,
Simon.
Simon.
I love you.
Simon, I love Simon, and I was in a relationship, and so like after we broke up, I was just like, it's so shitty out here. People are so awful.
It's gotten worse too.
It really has. I didn't know it could get worse, but there.
Oh
you have it.
yeah.
And after I took a break, I had a string of horrible dating experiences, and then there was one in particular that was awful, and I was like, I'm taking a break. I can't do this shit. And it was because I recognized that my self-esteem was deeply reliant on feeling accepted by men.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like whenever there was a rejection or a ghosting or like just some fucking bullshit, I would get extremely
It's not if, it's
depressed.
when, sorry.
It literally.
Yeah,
That's why I'm like,
exactly.
I'm done. I would get so depressed. I would feel like a piece of shit, and because they did things to make me feel like I wasn't worth.
Yeah, and you can
Anything.
be rock solid confident, and someone can just eke in under your skin in a way that you didn't mean for them to, and then you're like, fuck, now you're affecting my
Totally.
My
mood more than
will
I
to
fucking
live.
want that to.
Like you're making me depressed. So I
Yeah.
was like, I need to take a break because the fact that this makes me react this way, makes me feel this way is like too shitty. Took this break and it ended up going for 5 years. And during those years, at first I was like, you go through the 3 months of
Adjustment period.
yeah, where you're like,
Yeah.
am I lonely? I'm lonely. I don't know. I'm sad. I want to fuck somebody. Oh, I feel, and then you get past it, and then you're like, oh, I'm chill. I love having my bed like starfish worthy for myself and my cat. I like not having to deal with anybody in my fucking space unless I come for a sleepover anytime. But in terms of waking up and there being a man and being like, oh, you can go, or being at somebody else's house and waking up in somebody else's bed and having to like go home, I came to value my space and my time,
Routine.
and I nourished my friendships and met more people as a result and did everything that I wanted to do when I wanted to do it 100% of the time. And there wasn't any, oh, let me check and see if this person wants to. Let me see if he or she or they, let me check in. Oh, they don't feel like doing this thing, so
Compromising and-
I just do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And in doing that for 5 years, I realized that like I'm like deeply fulfilled and happy. My life is so fucking full that if I'm going to have a partner, if they're not 100% enriching it, then you gotta go. There's no
The
like,
bar is quite
If you're not
high,
bringing
as it
something
should
to the
be.
table,
And it
then
makes
you need to
sense
go.
because you've got these wonderful men in your band, and I'm sure, like, other people in your life too that have that high standard of how much they value, respect, and support you.
That's hard to, yeah, because we've had this conversation before. We're like, we have great friends, and that honestly sometimes makes it more difficult to date because it's like, we originally had a bar in hell, and then your friends like eke it up a little bit at a time. You're like, oh wait, this is how people are supposed to treat me, and then you're like, and then when you try to date and people are like trying to
The
give you less,
people
and you're
that
like, oh,
are
man.
out there dating casually too, they don't feel like they owe you anything.
Yeah.
Whereas your friends are like committed to you, and it does make sense in some ways. But that like mindset of just because I'm not deep in your life means that I get to treat you however I want.
It's
Yeah, but
so
if you
crazy.
whether you're gonna be
It's
deep in my
bonkers.
life or deep in my vagina, you gotta give me some damn respect.
Yeah.
Don't like my friends.
You wanna
should
get
give
close to me at all.
Respect. If you think you're gonna be intimate with me and skip a step that, you know, of friendship, it just seems ridiculous.
Totally.
And that's the thing. Here's the thing. I've never had sex with anyone that's good enough to put up with the bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm just like, I've got great
Same.
sex toys. I get myself
No-
off better
no
than
dick is
anybody
good enough
anyway.
for the
So
nonsense.
it's like, what is the fucking point? If
Sex
it's
toys
not worth
burning
it.
down the patriarchy one by one.
Honestly,
One
dude.
at a time.
Like, it's the fact that people don't just give respect to the idea that like you have to be deeply connected to someone like in a committed thing for them to treat you well is
Yeah.
like
That's the thing.
really
Even
gross
casually, you
and-
should be able to be friends. That's what I'm saying. It's like the fact that people think that they can get off with just like being ridiculous to each other because it's
Yeah.
casual is a bullshit. It's a cop out.
It
And in
is.
my
Like, why-
experience, the best sex I did have was with people who came with less bullshit.
Yeah.
Like they understood that the respect and compassion comes hand in hand with it, and that made the interactions better.
And also, just like being a woman at all is tiring.
Yes, these are-
And when I see these men and I hear these stories about men, or just like anyone with the like tag along toxic masculinity or the deficit of respect, I could say, that comes from our society, I see that problem and I'm like, it's not mine to fix. I'm dealing with my own shit. This requires so much time and care to, yes, mend their like scaredness of their insecurities and all that shit, but that's not mine to fix.
It's not my problem.
No.
I don't like.
And like I can have empathy for it, but I'm also just gonna keep a boundary.
This is the thing. I'm
That's
a bit
why I-
cutthroat
yeah.
that way. Where
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I
I'm
have
sorry
sent the
that
links
you're
to counseling
going through a
resources.
thing, but get the fuck away. It's not my fucking
Not
problem.
on my time.
I'm here to support my friends. I will support like my people who are good and who deserve like.
sure.
my-
yeah,
for
like,
you.
it was nice to meet you.
You're
Here's a link to a
shitty.
counseling resource. Have a nice day.
Sorry, bye.
I am not a
my problem.
therapist.
Fix it. I'm a mess myself,
I
and I
know.
put
Yeah.
in my time and energy and work to make myself better.
Yeah.
You can do it too. You're
I
a man.
know. And
You're a
people get
strong man.
caught
Fix
in
it.
people get caught in that empathy like wormhole, and like a lot of men be out there like relying on their girlfriends and their wives to
Yeah.
fix them.
And then we'll turn around and cheat on them.
They'll
or
be like,
I don't have
abusive,
the
or be fucking
energy.
just, like shitty to them.
Yeah, they'll be like, I'm going through something. I
But then
can't
they
like
never-
give you attention or connect with you right now. And it's like, but you breadcrumb until you feel like you want some attention, then you expect me to
Yeah.
leap to give you the
And
attention you
also-
want in that moment, or you want to just now you're like
Yeah.
you're aroused, so you want to give attention to someone. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, this is not how that works. And they're like, oh, I
Yeah.
told you I was going through something, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. You're allowed to be going through something. I'm also allowed to have
You're still
standards.
responsible for your
I'm also
behavior.
allowed to like
Exactly.
say, hey,
And the
someone
more-
needs to like maintain a connection in order
Yeah.
for you to want to do something.
And the more people are codependent on people to fix their shit for them, the less you build that skill set yourself, and you're never
Exactly.
going to be able to like handle your own shit.
Exactly. It's sad. It's pathetic to me that our society is built where like women have to fix everything for these like we all have the same amount of capabilities and like fucking strength. I'm one
Yeah.
person. And it's like if
we're
you,
put
if
in this
you're-
world with a deficit of rights and fucking pay and shit. Sorry.
Exactly. No,
We still have to fix your shit for you.
like why? What do you mean? You have everything. You fix it. Fuck. And I just can't. I won't do it. I'm not doing it anymore. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, unless you are enhancing and benefiting my life, I'm not doing it. That's
Yeah.
why, like, with this
Shouldn't.
most recent thing, I'm like, one chance
Yeah.
to fuck with me.
There are not multiple chances.
One-
This isn't
there's
baseball. There's no
there's-
3 strikes and
no.
you're out.
And when I
One
watch
and
my
fuck off.
friends going through like the repeated shit with the same fucking guy, like the same shitty person over and over for fucking months and years, I'm just like, why are you doing this? There's no benefit here for you. And they're hurting you. It is
Yeah.
making your life worse.
Yeah.
It's taking more than it's giving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're giving everything to this person who is just stomping on you, and you're teaching them that they can treat you this way.
And rebuilding yourself after a situation like that is really difficult. Like after, that's what was one of my relationships that made me just look at everything differently. It was like drained me of everything that who I was. I felt super fucking hollowed out after, and was just like, it's just one of those things.
But also, I feel it goes for literally any kind of relationship, friendships, like employment standards. I'm literally like, I just want to feel matched. If you can give me 20% today, I'll match your 20%. You can give me 50%, I'll match your 50%. If you can give me 100%, I'm going to show up for that, because that is fucking rare. And I've had many people who fucked me over, but then they like turn around and they're like, okay, but I want to mend this. And I'm like, okay, you're offering to put the work in, then I'm going to give you a chance, but you have to prove it.
Or people
proof
who
is in the pudding.
continuously say they want to be in your life, but then they don't follow through.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we have to spend time together, we want to hang out, I want to do this. Because I am here and I am ready to do that, but you need to follow through.
All relationships involve tension and struggle and everything.
And intention.
Exactly.
And investment.
Exactly. It has to be for a worthy cause. Are you dealing with my crazy the way I'm dealing with yours? Are we both like helping each other work through this, or am I carrying the whole burden of it?
Is this like a transactional thing where like you use me for things that you need, and then you're not there otherwise?
It's so funny in the dating scene too, how men will claim often that it's us who are the transactional ones, but really, when you look at it, it's often the men who are seeking the transaction. They just don't see it as such, because they view us using them transactionally in like a
I bought you dinner,
but like then they don't look at the transaction of all the energy that we put out as like, support and like being a person you call, being a person you lean on, whatever else.
And it just in like regards to friendships as well, like I'm very cutthroat. I don't fuck with people that are shitty. I refuse to let people that are not good into my space and my world. And because I feel like you're as good as the company you keep.
Yeah.
If you lie down with dogs, you'll rise up with fleas. And again, just like life is really hard already. And I'm going to give as good as I get, right? If I have a friend who is not being, like you said, if it's 20%, then that's what I'm going to. I'm not going to chase you.
No.
I'm not going to force you to be my friend. I actually went through something with a group of girls who, like, for years, just, it was like I was begging them to be.
I hate when you get put in
friend.
those situations.
Feeling, and they were always like, "Oh no, we love you, Dani," and then, "Oh, everybody's on Pender Island," and
nobody said anything. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Okay." One day I was just like, "I'm done. I'm just walking away from this," and I did, and that's when. Oh, lo and behold, I meet Jeff and Ellie and Sarah, and my whole world expands.
You gotta make the space for it.
Because instead of chasing these people,
Yeah.
I made space and went out and met other people who've just
Totally.
completely improved. My life is so dope now.
You
know?
never have to ask.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just there.
I feel like when you're wasting your time and your energy on friendships or relationships in general, and jobs, like you said, that are not benefiting you, that hurt you or hold you back, it is it's time that you could be putting towards meeting and experiencing
or just yourself. The second you put that energy,
stare at the ceiling if you need to. But that's positive too. As long as it's not making you feel bad, it's good.
Yeah.
So like whatever it is, just get the negativity out of your life, because shit is going to keep happening to us, whether we like it or not. There's going to be tragedy.
You need some people around you who are going to be there with you through it. And even if that's in a situation where, because Dani and I have both had our times where we're like, life is life and it's being hard, and both of us are like in our own little weird hermit bubbles, but we'll still be sending each other unhinged voice memos, and that's how we stay in touch and connected through those times. Like, we adapt our friendship to meet the needs of the moment, and we're still there for each other, and that comes with intention. Because like from the minute I saw Dani sing, I was like, I remember sassing Marco and being like, "You little son of a bitch, you keep this girl a secret, you know her, you just sing with her, you know this girl, you just don't tell me, fuck you." And then immediately from that moment on, I was like, oh yeah, I love this girl, I'm gonna know this girl. And you want someone who does take a little time to let people in, but you're always like nice from jump. It wasn't like you were mean or anything. You're just like, you take time to suss people out. But once they're in there, they're in there.
I assume the best about everybody when I meet them at first.
Me too.
And then I watch, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I like catch wind of some shit, I'm like, oh, no, never mind. And I'm not going to be like a bitch. I'm not going to blow your shit up. I'm just going to quietly exit the room.
Yeah. Totally.
Leave you to your shitty devices over there.
I just had this interaction with someone, and we were like butting heads trying to organize something together. And it was our first time organizing something together. So she was like new to me, and she was like telling me all these fears that she was having. And I was like, and she was like, I guess I have like trust issues. And I was like, I guess I just like naturally think people are going to turn out okay.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to hold on to. And she was like in this deficit of, I guess like I just default assume people are going to fuck me over. And that's a symptom of our world. Unfortunately, look at the like people controlling the planet. They're not doing a very good job. Our role models not be role modeling.
And also different people's upbringings too.
Totally.
If they've been betrayed by people close to them, then it's even harder.
It's
to
a
trust
valid
them.
thing, and I have empathy.
That people project a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that are like always accusing you of lying.
Yeah.
Like themselves liars. And I find that if someone is inherently negative like that, sometimes I'm like, is it because you're someone that isn't that? I don't know her. I don't like John to say
Well,
that,
that
but
was-
it's that kind of thing makes me think. Sometimes I'm like, okay, does that mean I can rely on you?
Yeah.
Because why would you assume that
Yeah.
you can't trust people?
Yeah.
It's like for me the default is like
You
I'm
manifest your
Yeah, I
existence.
believe you're good until you show me otherwise.
Exactly. And that like warmth while still being like self-protected in not like a shut down world. Like you can be warm and you can also be like strongly self-assured, and I think that is like the energy that people are so drawn to, because that's the ultimate matriarch figure that like we all wish our moms were. It's like you're warm, but like you are standing up for yourself. Any parent, any person, I just find it very like attractive, and the more that I can embody that energy in myself, like I have this ethereal character that I like created up in this like arts workshop bullshit hippie thing, and I named her Mama Coyote because I want to be this like character that's, I feel like a mama. I've got like my legs open, my arms open, I'm like come in, but then I've also got a coyote trickster energy that's like shifty, and I'll fuck with your shit a little bit too, but balancing that like mature groundedness. I think the groundedness is what I mean. It's like you can be like grounded represents to me like you're self-assured, you know where you stand. So in that way, you're able to observe other people, and you're not constantly shifting if others are shifting. You're just like, I'm not at the whims of you. I am me. And maybe our energies come together. They make something really cool. But if I see you fucking like expecting me to bend over backwards every 5 seconds for you, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We are interrupting this very long conversation, but we promise it's worth going back to, because Isaac comes in at the end and gives us a little sneak peek in what it's like being in the same band as Dani right now. I wanted to highlight a little bit of that band specifically. I'm going to play you guys one of my favorite Blase Blase songs, Nightlight. And this song not only demonstrates the hype that these 4 or 5 artists put together when they're recording. So like imagine this but on the stage, and they're like yelling it in your face, and it's just like so intoxicating. And then I'm also selfishly going to play the end of the song where the crescendo goes into my lovely lad's sax solo. That is my voice. I'm not biased at all, but I hope you enjoy. Here is Nightlight. So good. Okay, guys, back to the episode.
This is a question this is something I already know the answer to, but I just want to hear you say it for other people. Is like things that like you in your experience led you to be able to be so grounded, things that have tools or lessons and things in your life, especially whether it's in music and dealing with all the crazy fucking personalities over the years, dealing with men and all their nonsense over the years. Yeah, and just going through the things that we've gone through up and down and whatever, like you always have this sense of yourself and this grounded way that you process things, and I love it and have learned a lot from it. Danny's always wanted to be like, Katie, think about it for a minute before you freak out. And so it's great to have that, but I'm curious for those other people how you came to build that skill for yourself.
Growing up, it was a struggle. My mom was a single mother, and I have a twin brother, and he was Kool-Aid ADHD, and it was a lot. And so she was like, she was like mean to me. She didn't like me. And it was like, I had to, like, it came from pain, essentially. Yeah. I was treated in a way as if I was like a bad person, as if I was this like liar or this. It was like people were trying to create a persona about me that I recognized was not real.
So being firm in your sense of self was that much more important.
Exactly. It came from just being like, I'm not who you're saying I am. And I don't have the fucking energy to be sneaky, shitty, bad to people. I find it's a lot easier to be.
It is a lot easier. It takes so much more energy.
And so for me, it was because I hated the way that people tried to tell me who I was. Yeah. And for me, I'm doing it to be stubborn. I know who the fuck I am. I'm going to be the best person that I can be, in spite of people who want to talk shit and say that I'm trying to tell me who I am according to them. And yeah, so I don't know. It became just a part of me. It's not something that I
wouldn't tell you who I am if I show you who I am.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. And like I said, I think that being a positive energy in the world, like when I die, I want people to be sad about it. So my favorite book is East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and there's this quote that is about, it's something that goes along, something like if a man should die, it would be a horror if his dying brought pleasure to the world. And essentially saying that you want to live your life in a way so that your impact is positive. You don't want to give like joy because you're going. And I want you guys to have a good time around me. That's just like my shit. Yeah. And in trying to achieve that, I think my intentions, I know what they are, I know what I'm here for, I know what I'm doing. And so I don't know.
There's a really cool like balancing act that needs to be done to make other people feel comfortable when you have a big personality, though. And this is something I don't know you might both have come into, is that people can be scared and intimidated.
I'm sure we've both gone through it, but we give less fucks about it because over time you're like, you try to like make people comfortable by making yourself small, and then you realize that's a terrible idea, or it just makes you sick sometimes. Like it makes you, and it can get out of hand, shrinking yourself, and then you accidentally shrink yourself too far. You lose
I'm not
yourself.
doing that anymore.
Me neither.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've experienced. We just care less.
I just try to throw a lot of warmth out there.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Super fucking friendly and approachable. So if anytime someone comes up to me, I'm going to be nice.
And that's like a superpower, and I think that makes it a lot less scary, intimidating. Because I don't consider you scary, intimidating, but you still have that like big aura and presence about you, and people
a lot of times, even if we don't like you, we're gonna kill you.
Yeah, and people get threatened by that, and I do find that is the superpower. It's like disarming people before they even have the opportunity to be freaked out, and you can do that in such a gentle way. For me, it's like being silly and stupid, and I think you guys are both like that as well. I'm gonna be the stupid one first, so
dumb.
You can be with me.
Yeah, totally. And
I'll be uncomfortable too, or I'll point out that I'm uncomfortable in this moment, so you know that you're
like,
not alone.
Why take yourself seriously? I refuse to do that.
That's fucking boring.
Dumb. And
plus, if I take myself too seriously, then I like go down this rabbit hole of picking it all apart, and then the depression comes in, and and then everything is
Get
all
over
gone.
yourself. Get
It
the fuck
sounds
over
like a
yourself.
We were literally a monkey not that long ago.
Bitch, please.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Shut
all
up.
monkeys.
Man, like, how, like, farting, burping, like, we're gross.
Yeah.
And we're, like, get over yourself. So, I don't know. I just, like, people
We're
that...
just all fumbling around here. Lucky we don't stumble into manholes more often.
Literally-
Like it's just we're just everything's a bonus. Like just enjoy it.
A broken body. Like, my ankles, both of them. How,
Oh, God,
I'm
yeah.
falling all of the time. I cannot... I'm not
This
I'm
is
not a
true.
good person. It's...
Same.
I'm like,
I
Oh,
like,
God.
let's just be friends
I
and have a
really
good time.
liked what you said about how being chill is actually easier.
It is
Because
easier.
I think sometimes, like, the person that came to my mind when you said that is a couple friends of mine who, like, stress so much about being responsible that it actually, like, always doing the morally correct thing and always being ethical and, like, always playing the devil's advocate. They actually live a very hard life and are very stressed and very uncomfortable all the time. And it's if you actually gave less fucks, you internalize having a more positive experience, which actually helps the world more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like people who are so stressed about, like, perfectionism
And
and
then doing the right thing comes more naturally too, because you
Yeah,
can
well, it shouldn't
overthink
be
the
that
moral
hard.
choice a lot. And
I get that we're scared monkeys, and I get that we're at a deficit of ease in this world. I don't blame anyone for freaking
that's
the fuck
why
out.
I think that's
Yeah.
what I think. That's why joy and chill and
Yes.
play are now a rebellious act. It's a revolutionary act to hold on to that happiness because that's what they
They're
want.
gonna charge us
you know?
$1,100 to have joy.
They
and
want you to.
fucking
That's
sing
just with the,
kumbaya
with
to
the
each other.
climate we're
The
in.
ground. I'm burning you down, Coda.
With political shit and everything else going on in the
What does
world.
CODA
it's like
stand for?
everybody wants us
Cunty,
to be
oppressive, dickheads,
Assholes.
assholes. Sorry, Katie.
It's like,
I love you.
it's...
I like that we're just talking about being chill and then we
We're
just
like,
like roast the
And we're
Coda
taking
so
them
hard.
out.
But I'm all
It's-
about optimizing
Yeah.
my play and my fun. Like,
I
that
just
is
think,
my
yeah.
life mission, is I want to do it as best as I can so that it
Yeah.
resonates with how important it is. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's the only way we navigate this shithole.
I feel like that's what I live for. Like,
Yeah.
I work so that I can have a home and do fun shit with my money.
Yes.
Like, that's why I work. I'm not people who like gotta save it, and I have money going into savings. But what the fuck am I working for
Yeah.
if it's not to enjoy
to
my
live
life?
the life that you're living
I
already.
work so that I can be silly.
Exactly, me
And
too. That's what I told Isaac when he
There's
bought
a
his
time in my
$10,000 saxophone today.
Right?
I was like,
There's
you
a
only got
time
one
in
life,
my,
baby.
Exactly.
you only get one
Literally,
life.
we don't have kids. Like,
Yeah.
fucking do
Yeah,
it.
you guys are a couple of dinks. You're fine.
We're gonna be
Double
fine.
income, no kid. But
Yeah.
the thing is, that's one of those things. It's like there was a time in my life where if I like went back in a time machine and saw my teenage self and was like, "Yo, we're still alive and we are like making music and stuff, and we're like mostly broke a lot of the time, but we have fun." They'd be like, "Shit, you
You're
didn't
loved.
die."
You're supported. Yeah.
And like I would be. There was a time where I'm like, I'm surprised I lived this far. I'm not worried a whole lot about the old age thing. It'll figure itself out, or I'll just like cruise on out and put me on an iceberg and float me away. I don't give a fuck. But I'm like, I'm here to live now in the moment and have as many experiences as I
Hell
can
yeah.
and love as hard as I can and laugh as many times as possible.
Yeah.
And
It's
if I get to do a bunch of that, then fuck,
I
cool, that's a
do-
win.
also find it very hard to idealize my future when our world changes so quickly.
That's the thing too, and I'm like doing the same like mode of thought of Dan. The whole like when like I just want to live
Invest in what's
to
in
the
front of
what,
me.
what I want to live. And my goal in life, my idea of success is like how will my absence be felt once I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's more.
I
So
don't-
then, what's in my account? What's my savings? What my retirement look like? You know, what's my ripple effect when I'm gone?
What's the
How-
impact that you had when
Yeah.
you were here? Totally. Yeah. And I don't want a funeral. I want an after party.
Yeah.
Dope, yeah. Same.
Right?
Yeah, after
Yeah.
parties,
Right?
yeah, the vibe
I
for
want
sure.
you to all get stoned with my body. We all get really
With your
high
body.
together. Yeah. Just use my dead ass finger to like bring
To
the
take some
bump
bumps.
up to your nose.
Just like taxidermy you and put you on strings like a puppet.
Stuff me full of ketamine. I'm a fucking
One last-
pinata,
one
and
last
you just start
clown show.
whacking me, and I'm just spitting out fucking ketamine into the crowd.
Grim.
Just do you up like a clown and have one last clown show.
Yes, but I'm like a marionette.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
like
marionette
fucking
style.
dead.
These funerals do exist.
They do.
And
They will.
My mom
horrifying.
used to say she just wanted to be propped in the corner, blinged out, and have people tell jokes.
I'm
that's
so
like-
down for it.
It's great. My sister
I wanna bring
honors
joy-
her. My sister honors her memory that way. She has jokes in her comedy set about my mom, and I'm like, she's. I want to do this joke in front of you guys because it's like a healing thing. I just felt like it's like a thing because we were all at her show recently. My brother, my dad, and myself. and she was making jokes about my mom and her brief window into clay aiken obsession, and it's one of the most joked about times in our life too. All my friends remember her for that and things like that. But it was funny too because I'm like, I just said to my sister, you don't know how much that is just hit the nail on the head of exactly what she would want to be remembered by. Like, she's the source of joke content that you tell over and over again to audiences of people. That's literally her dream. So that's totally cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I want that too, please. Thank you.
I will tell the stories of your.
Do you have any good Dani stories
I have
you could
so
share
many
right
good
now?
Dani
Piss
stories.
myself on stage.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna
the
say
pissing!
that's literally what I was gonna say. Is
pissing!
that I would share your pee stories for the rest of my life, long after.
Let's get it right here, right now.
Man.
Dani's
Well, it's
pissed
okay.
in a flower pot.
That was just one that I thought was the most impressively stealthy because we were all sitting. Everyone was smoking outside the bar downtown, and they have these like hexagonal flower pot things, and Dani was sitting on the edge of it, and I'm the only one noticed, only because I saw her back arch a little bit, and I was like, Dani, hypervigilance, just observing things, and I was like, are you sneaky peeing right now? And she's like,
Thanks all the
so
time.
impressive.
Yeah, dude.
No one noticed. It literally just looked like she was stretching for a hot second, and then she was done.
So
and I've
good.
seen her like pull this off
I'm
a
so in
multitude of times, but one of the times that made me like that threw me the most in laughter was when we were at Atmosphere Festival. And
that wasn't deliberate though. That was
no, that was just that there was no time to go to the bathroom before the set, and we all know how tiny Dani's bladder was, and she was like, "Oh, this could go terrible," but she was wearing like we were all a little bit costumed up, and she had this flowy like I'm Jesus type moo fucking thing on, and it was
I
like
call it like this
space prophet moo. It was
I can't
so
wait
funny.
to see it.
So she had her like two stage drinks that were there or whatever, but she didn't have time to do the customary I need to pee first to empty this bladder. And there's a song where we like hit and hold a note for a long time, and
so this ballad that I wrote, and there's this like really high note, and so as I was like, oh my god, I have to
Your
pee so
diaphragm.
fucking badly. And I was like, oh god, when I hit this note, that's it for me. I knew that singing that fucking note was going to be what blew the damn out.
It's scored.
I fucking knew it. And so I was like, so what I did was because it's like a floor length shiny moo thing, and so I was like, okay, so I like stood with my feet a little bit far apart. And was like, ah! And just like it pissed straight down, and it like just straight to the ground.
Then she taps me on the shoulder and is like, Katie, I just pissed on the stage. I was like, what?
Song ended, and I was like, Katie,
no, it wasn't ended. Your part ended. I had to still sing, and then you went to me and you were like, I did this, and then you showed me a puddle, and then I had to sing after that, and I started to giggle.
No, so it was during Hometown Heartache when I pissed myself.
Oh, what?
It was when I was when I like had to like, oh god, and then after, and then so it was between, and I was like, hey, I pissed myself, and I stepped back, and then you did have to sing because
yes,
we were, like,
and then I was cackling
like,
and trying not to
like,
laugh.
Stepped back, showed her the puddle, and then stepped back over it and was like, fuck, and then
all I can think about is that I know she's trying to run around somewhere to find somewhere to pee, and I'm just like trying to sing and be serious and trying not to laugh.
We had this instrumental song called Turnstile. And because I didn't piss all of it, I just like pissed enough to be able to like go back to clenching.
Breathe.
And so I was like,
Giggle.
I was just like turnstiles. So like that it was
literally changed the set list. She's like, you got to do this song because I need time.
I needed to run off stage, and so I ran. And then went to try to use the porta potties, and people were in them. So I squatted next to it in the dark, and then this fucking flashlight shines on me with my like ass out in the process of pissing, and it's a security guard, and I was like, sorry, and pissed, pulled my shit up as he was like, ooh, and ran up on stage and just kept going.
I love you.
It's funny. And then so the running joke was that she owns that stage because she marked her territory. And so we were just like, Dani marked her territory on the stage, and it was like a running bit for a long time. It was very funny.
Every band needs a fucking instrumental song just in case.
Dude, honestly, I need to talk to Isaac and the boys about this.
Word of warning.
Close.
Dani's like, we've come close. I want to be on stage.
At least give me an interlude.
There's got to be a break for Dani and fucking useless ass bladder. And the thing is, I like to get a little buzz going.
I know,
so,
me
like,
too. And then
like,
on top of that, if you're ever nervous at all, your body's just like mass exodus, everything evacuates.
Exactly.
The body.
Which is, I have the opposite. My ADHD brain is just like, what? We have to pee? And then by the time like things is over, I'm like, I have to pee like my life depends on it.
Speaking of peeing, I really
but I
have to pee
can
now.
hold
You can pee
my bladder like crazy. It's really insane.
Okay, there's so many stories that I even have of green room. Dani is just like a
Oh my god, actually, that reminds me of I have a
it.
video clip of this too. I should send you a clip and you can insert it into the podcast. It's so funny. I sent it to CBG recently because I was like, remember this? Good times. So we played a venue in Nanaimo, and for whatever reason, there was like jiu-jitsu equipment upstairs in the green room. The green room was like a fitness room or something. So we go upstairs and we're like chilling, and all of a sudden Dani's, what's all this shit? What's this fucking karate jiu-jitsu shit? What is this? And so all of a sudden we start fucking around. We got pads. We're like hitting each other and stuff. And then Dani discovers this full dummy, or someone discovers this full like fighting dummy, and it's very heavy. And somehow it ends up pinning Stevie G to the ground, and Dani's on top of it, just humping the two of them into the floor, and you just see Stevie G is just, and Dani's like, yeah! It was so funny. Oh man. And I just have it, and it's just, it's one of my all-time favorite like things I've captured of our little band memories.
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
because I would usually be the one to capture little clippets sometimes, and I was always like obsessed with creating memories.
For that exists.
It does,
and
it
came back out
I've sent it back to
recently.
you guys recently.
Okay, we're gonna
I
put
looked
that-
psychotic.
It was
on
so
it.
I
funny.
love finding green room shit. One time it was actually the first show we ever played when Herman's upstairs with you. You guys played when we played like a fake set before we were
And
like.
TK was drumming for you
TK
guys.
was our drummer. It was before we were like good. But we were in the green room, and I was just telling the story the other day, and there was like all these tablecloths.
I was at that show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had blonde hair at the
Yeah,
time.
I remember.
But we found like this tablecloth, and I picked it up, and it's actually this giant wizard's robe. And my buddy Ian put it on, and it had a cape and giant arms, and he found a giant like stick. And I have a video of him
things
going,
that exist in green rooms.
"Shall not pass." Anyways, he took it home, and he still owns it.
That's hilarious. The green
It's
room
fucking
moments.
awesome.
The
Green room lore
moments.
is actually, it runs deep. The worst
Yeah.
green room I've ever been in was the Lake Town Shakedown bullshit.
Oh my god,
that was
I
the
knew
worst
day.
experience
I
of
feel
my
that
life.
face coming.
Danny and I were there together. We drove
Her
home
Lake Town story is the
bitching
best.
for 2 hours straight.
Livid.
It was
Every
awful.
time we go to fucking Lake Town,
It's awful.
we are pissed off the entire. I fucking hate that festival,
Dude,
I hate.
I
you.
ran around that festival looking for food for the band for 45 minutes. Every single staff that works there doesn't know what they're doing. And everyone just I don't know, go over there. I don't know, go over there. And I literally got 10,000 steps in just looking for fucking ribs for you.
It's insane.
It was stupid.
Nobody knows anything, but they're all combative. Everybody wants to stop you
they're
and be
all
like, "What are you doing?
aggressive.
Who are you? What's you doing?" And
We
it's
should
like,
just start
do you
doing
have
that
an
to
answer
them.
to anything?
She's
Honestly,
like, what are you doing?
exactly. Like
They wouldn't. So half
like-
the time at festivals, people don't know who's working and who isn't. So you could do that, and they probably wouldn't know.
This one's just
literally-
particularly poorly
It's
organized.
Just start taking
unbelievable
clipboards
how
with you.
fucking it's like a joke.
Yeah. Do you remember when I left the green room to come watch you on stage, and I went back to get my bag, and the security guards, no, you're not allowed.
And I had to come over, and I was like, "Are you kidding?"
I was like, I have a guest pass on my wrist.
It just-
What are you talking about?
Out now, just no. The answer is just no, because I say so. And I had to go over, and I was like, "Let her through."
I was like, I'm literally
This
like,
is why when I'm emceeing for festivals, I make sure I know all sorts of things, because as someone who's like the face on stage, a lot of people will ask me questions to everything, and I will make it my business to know all the answers, as many as I
and
can.
this is why I love Otherworld, is because festivals of that size shouldn't try to be organized.
Nugget.
Just trust that people will figure it out themselves.
And here's an idea.
Let the art happen. Don't control it all.
Here's an idea too. If you have artists that you've asked to come and perform at your festival, maybe treat them with the smallest amount of fucking respect.
Like
Instead
ensuring
of
that
the
they can
opening-
like survive.
can
The
help
smaller-
them get
the
their
smaller
equipment
local- that's
up
a
the
whole
fucking
other
hill
conversation.
to the stage.
There's a whole other
Let
conversation that
them
this
like.
we
Why
need to
are
talk
we?
about
Why
is,
are
like-
you asking us to come and then treating us like we broke in?
local bands don't get the care and respect they deserve, considering that like we help keep the scene going through in between when the big names are here. Like,
know
you
what,
give
though?
all the respect to the people you fly in from wherever and paid a bunch of money to be here, but the people who are like doing it for less money,
Our friends are
and
in the
whatever,
crowd.
like we're bringing the
Those are our
audience
friends.
from local places and doing these things. We're hustling year round for the scene.
Amen.
I find that most places are actually pretty good. Like
Yes.
like Pachina Bay was
Yes.
incredible.
Oh
too.
yeah, there's a lot of
so
places
Jazz
that are
is
good
always
for
good
sure.
to us. But Lake Town is the worst
Fest is
experience, and every time it has been terrible.
It's like an industrial,
And it's-
bureaucratic nightmare.
and it's everybody. It's not just our
No.
band. Every band that I've spoken to that has played Lake Town has been fucked over by those
Yeah.
people. Every single one.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Apparently, they're trying to make that property into a giant amusement park. That's why some of it might be closed down for Otherworld this year, is because they're doing land testing
They're building condos as well. Like,
on the land.
No.
someone mentioned that to me last year.
They're trying to develop it all.
Oh, Jesus
there's a whole
Christ.
thing happening there.
So
Well,
that might mean that Otherworld gets to move somewhere cooler, hopefully, which would be awesome. Do you know Otherworld used to happen at Pachina Bay? That's where the first Otherworld happened.
No, the first Otherworld happened at
first
Sunny Days. Sunny Days Campground in Shawnigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Some
Those
of them
locations
happened
would have been amazing.
right on the ocean. Otherworld.
Well, Sunny Days.
But
is
let's
on a
say
little
let's
river
say in a
too,
couple
yeah.
years it might move again, because I think that should happen. But
I would love it to move, actually, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, that site is not great. I'm not crazy about it. You have to hike up that hill. It's like shitty down here, where it's like it's like dusty and dry and
It's a
weird
parking
grass.
lot.
And then you hike up the hill and that's fine. But then there's like where you guys were camped last year, like
By the
porta
shitters?
potties, by the shitters with like stone, like it's not ideal. It's not accessible.
No.
It's
Yeah, that's one thing
there's
I'm nervous
much
about this year
better
with tenting
places
is
they can
like
have it.
be with my knee and shit, like sleeping right on the ground might be difficult. I'm like might have to try to, depending on where we end up, like I might have to figure out a way to make my car artistic and cool and part of being able to be like part of the barrier. So I
think if it's an
sleep from
accessibility thing, that
Yeah.
totally flies for.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the summer. I'm really looking forward for you guys to play more shows so we can fucking tour again, because I love touring with you. And also, hopefully we can do some shows together with our boys,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm in love with them just as much as you are. It's such a good crowd.
It's very good. I have this band of husbands, and then I'm also like,
I feel that way too.
I get everybody's girl is the best. All of the girls are also my wives. So I'm in this like
It's
amazing.
nice when you don't lose your bandmate relationships because of partnerships. It's always good when it's
Yeah,
supportive
when like
and everybody
like
gets
what
along.
a win! What a fucking
Everyone's
win for
equally
me.
committed.
And just lovely. Sometimes when you're just a lot of different people,
Yeah.
and this person has a girlfriend that's a bitch, or like she's standoffish, or thinks that you want to fuck her boyfriend.
Yeah,
So,
we
you
saw
know,
that
like,
lots over the years too, where like bandmates, girlfriends would hang out because they were all together a lot, but then they like didn't always get along. Like,
we're really friends.
Yeah.
Whereas
Or people are jealous of like the connection you have in your creative passion, but it's like different. And yeah, there's just an abundant mindset with
Yeah.
all of the people in our lives. Everyone
I had
gets
partners
it.
that used
Yeah.
to get threatened by the boys in the band, and I'm like, especially Nathan. I'm like, yes, Nathan's beautiful, but he's like my fucking little brother. Like it's hilarious. Like that you'd be threatened by someone who's in my
Nathan
brain
Shelby
is
of
a
Saanich.
non-sexual entity. He also invited us all to go to his like bocce tournament thing. He does, you know him. He does the whole like Pearl Street Country Club open. He's doing a whole thing. It sounds like he makes it sound like a country club event, and there's a cup and there's a prize and there's a
Oh
buy,
my
and it's adorable,
God.
but he does like a whole. He was like,
He's so
"I'm calling you
precious.
to invite you to the annuals."
Then he's like teaching like rad hip hop
And then he's
classes
like-
at
yeah,
the
and
conservatory.
helps with my youth
He's
jam.
so
I
cool.
love him so much.
I feel basically my takeaways from this chat are we have to get more creative with our event spaces because they fucking suck, and that's why we're gonna start playing on mountaintops and in parking lots and stuff.
I'm so down with this.
Yeah.
That's like really fun. So holler at your girl.
I like you guys should just play with us.
Yeah,
you
we
guys,
just need
we
more and
should.
more of that kind of stuff.
we want to. Yeah, I feel like we got to be creative. We got to make connections with people that have properties that we can play music on.
I know a guy named Paul who did build and open up his own little place.
That would be
We'll-
incredible.
We'll talk.
Thank
we'll get into
you.
this for sure.
I have really good liability insurance. So. Yeah, I take that shit seriously. But also, if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. Because the bar in our lives is all pretty
It's
fuck
too
yeah.
low. Yeah. I just wish that people would value themselves more.
Mm-hmm.
I am constantly like
Yeah,
talking
she's
to
told me
Katie
this
and my
many
girls
times.
about this, where I'm just like, you have to choose yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and like you like as much as you might want something to work with someone, once the negativity is gone, you'll get over it.
You'll
might
feel
miss someone for
lighter.
a little bit, but it always gets better.
And that applies to like
And-
working projects too, because there's been plenty of times where Danny's
Yeah.
like, you got to value yourself better, like with what you accept in the working world too.
But people don't really have that modeled for them sometimes. That's why I'm like, people need
And especially
to meet people like you guys
and
that
especially
are
in
doing
an
it and
industry where you're
thriving
taking what
in
you
it.
get a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think we all have that scarcity mindset. If it's not this person, I'm never going to have anyone. And I'm like, look around at all of the friends sitting next to you holding your hand.
Yeah.
They are going to stay. As long as you don't drain yourself into this thing.
My mom always says it's better to be miserable by yourself than miserable with somebody. What if I'm going to be sad? Let me just be sad by myself. I don't need you to be here with me making me sad so that we're both just... And that's something that I think about. If you make me feel bad, then you can't be around me.
Yeah, and if you're the only thing in my life that is bringing out a certain side or the worst things in me, then that's not a good thing, and that's not a good
also,
match.
just like knowing how to say no to things is really hard.
Mm.
I had this concept of an activity called speed dumping. So instead of speed dating, it's like you're given a situation that you need to leave. You need to like end the relationship, whether it's like a professional, like you're quitting your job, whether it's like a shitty first date where it's like your 6-year boyfriend, and you just need to like practice that leaving a situation without tearing anyone down.
Okay.
It's like you're elevating yourself up and out.
Yeah.
It's like, I am worthy of more. I think I can do better elsewhere. It's like, I'm going to get the fuck out. And then hopefully you can learn your lesson by losing this instead of, fuck you, you fucked me over, you fucked this, you fucked that, you fucked this. Because people don't listen to that. They don't retain it. It doesn't really teach them anything. Sometimes
it just makes you look like you're the best, which is, so like with that, sorry, interrupt you.
I was okay, but sometimes like people do deserve a good fuck you.
Yeah.
But then also, I deserve better.
Yeah. So like with this shit with he who I will not name, at your birthday party, it really hurt my feelings and was like very weirdly disrespectful and childish.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
like,
was gross.
brought you here as my date and you're just going to sit there with this. Anyway, that night when I got home, he texted me some bullshit and I was just like, you've got to be kidding.
Too late.
And I just didn't.
Yeah.
6 days later, he hit me up and I said he was like, I'd really like to meet up with you to talk. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And we were supposed to meet up on Sunday, and I was like, I can't do it today, sorry. And he was like, okay, let me know another time. And I didn't get back to him, and I never will. It's one of those things where at first I was going to cuss his ass out. I was like, I wrote in my phone still, I was like, putting down points. Like
She
I was
says she's not a writer.
Takes the right kind of inspiration.
When it comes to cussing, I'm going to make notes.
Skill set acquired.
But I wrote all this shit down and was going to, and then as time went by, I was like, but what is the point? And I think in not reacting that way,
You get to respond.
and I think that guys really get a kick out of feeling like we care so much when we flip out like that. They're
And
like,
watching
"Oh,
women be crazy.
that makes me a bitch. That makes me crazy. That lets him know how much it bothers me. If I'm just like, that was shitty and I'm going to go. I'm out. I'm not even going to talk to you about it. I'm just going to go.
Because they want to feel like the good guy. They're like, I did everything.
He wanted to absolve himself of guilt.
I wanted to do the apologize thing. And I'm like, I don't need
And I don't need to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Say it to yourself in a mirror, bitch. I'm done.
Yeah.
I am out.
Yeah.
And you don't get to try to paint a picture of yourself in my eyes, and certainly not on my goddamn time, bitch. And you don't get the pleasure of my presence.
meltdown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
Quietly, and you get to continue to be a fucking thought.
And you can teach
Like,
yourself
fucking hoe.
what you learned from this.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not even going to try and help you out through it.
You are in your mid 40s, okay? You
It's
can't
too
learn.
late.
I don't care. Again, it's not my problem.
But you
Yeah,
still...
you're too old to be playing these games.
I'm out.
It's cool that you still let yourself like write it all out because those feelings have to move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You only
sometimes
get
it's
to
good
that
just write
second
it out
spot.
and not do anything about it.
Yeah, and that's why I do understand that if you are in the situation presently, you cannot always respond as this like perfectly responsible, ethical person. But like those feelings do have to move, and then you can get to the juicy, grown up shit. And it's not always about taking the high road and being like perfect. It's just about not making anyone else's life worse, including your own.
Exactly.
Hi!
No, I'm petty as fuck. Hey, bitch. I'm petty as fuck, and I love to read. I love to flay the skin off of a motherfucker if they deserve it. I love it.
But sometimes
And
we
I'm
just do that to
here
each other in our voice notes. So we
And-
just like to flay them to each other.
That's
like,
so
I'm
much
gonna tell him
healthier
this.
than-
I'm gonna rip him this
So
new
much
asshole.
healthier.
There was one time this guy broke up with me by ghosting me for our camping trip,
Ugh.
and I wrote him this long letter that I was going to give to him. And then when I read the letter over, I was like, okay, everything that I wrote is true. So why do I care? And reading it over, I was like, I'm right.
You wrote it for you.
And I'm like, I don't need to give him this letter. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm rereading this to myself.
Yeah.
I'm on the better end of this. It's okay.
Totally.
And so
You validated yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so writing things down like that can really
Totally. I had that with some friends recently too. And I was like, wait, why am I still trying?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's one of those things for sure. Where
They give
it's
you
just
perspective.
helps
to
you get
yourself.
clarity.
Yeah, because
Is
all we want,
away from the feeling of the moment.
yeah, and all we would love in a situation where someone's hurt you is to say those words back to you. You want to feel heard. You want like them to be like, "You're right. I did fuck this up, and I see your pain, see your shitty situation."
The thing is, if I was in a position, if I was considering still trying to work things out with him, like giving him another chance, then yeah, we could. I'll bitch you out or whatever. We can have the arguments. We can talk about it.
No, but he fumbled that ball too hard.
I'm not, since it's a no, like full stop for me.
Yeah.
Why am I going to waste my time and let you steal my fucking energy and air?
Yeah.
Just say it to yourself.
Yeah. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no.
Yeah,
And sometimes those lines are not always clear, but the more you practice setting these boundaries and shit, the easier it gets.
Yeah,
Hi,
Definitely.
sweetie. Do you want to take the mic for a second?
I don't have anything to say. I have no
We're just talking about setting boundaries, and also if you have any good Dani stories before we wrap up, I'm gonna just restart this one more time so it doesn't.
I just wanted to cuddle my girlfriend.
Oh.
He's cute. Coming to cuddle his fiance.
Did you know that's what I said when he proposed?
Yes, I saw the video.
So
Yeah,
gay.
that made me laugh. That was so funny.
I know, because there's a fucking keyboard right between us.
That was so
Dani
cute.
gave you lots of love today. She said that you guys
Yeah,
are
we talk
wonderful
about you, how
and
lovely you are.
help her feel safe and seen as an artist. I'm putting words in her mouth.
No,
No,
that's
but that
accurate.
is, that is what I say.
That is accurate.
And that you see a lot. You are very observant and supportive. And
I see a lot and it makes me mad.
Yes, I love that about you. I love that about you.
You support me. Like, you have my back so hard. I adore you. I'm really
She was
grateful.
also
You too, Daddy.
trying to say that she's not a creative person, and I said, fuck that, because her art is the
Lies.
energy
Yeah, we all
that
said
she
that,
channels on stage.
It's just the way I feel like some people are really good at putting it out there and coming up with things
Free
in a way
flow
that's
state,
that.
yeah.
Whereas for me, I truly, if you ask me to come up with a name for that guitar, I'd be like, give me a couple weeks.
I'm exactly the same way.
Like,
yeah.
I cannot. So it makes me feel like I'm not creative.
But
because
you
it's-
do get into your flow state when you're playing with an audience's energy.
Yes.
And that is an art in itself.
That's what they were saying, actually. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
It's almost like we were right.
Almost like it's true.
That's so true.
But the thing is that once you recognize what parts of your life you just naturally get into that flow state with, then you can start to coax yourself into the flow state in other areas because you know what it feels like. Recognize like the things that make you feel safe and okay to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Bars.
Yeah, and you're
Preach.
definitely creative when it comes to planning and planning a vibe and an energy. Like,
Holding space.
yeah,
Yeah.
We should do an event together.
like
I would love to.
dinners or trips or whatever. Those are all
love
ways
that.
in which you flex your creativity. They might not seem super creative, but they definitely are.
Yeah, I guess. I'm like, I want to go to Mexico. I'm going back to Mexico.
Yeah, but you'll also be like, you'll
Once
be like,
again,
I have,
I'm in Mexico.
but there'll also be a time when you'll be like, I have I bought a big rack of ribs and I'm not gonna eat it by myself. I'm just gonna invite 2 people over to eat, and then next thing there's like a whole fucking 12-course meal spread out across the table because you've just got that you're like, now that I'm doing it, I might as well throw my whole ass in it.
It doesn't need to be tied to a medium. It's all just about having an idea
Yeah.
and following through with it. I feel like
Yeah.
that's literally all creativity is.
True.
Yeah, and when
How
you
do I
are
put this in action?
being a person that like prioritizes like your desire to thrive and remain like fully alive in your life, then you have access to those good ideas and like the people who feed those ideas and grow them and make them bigger. And I definitely see that in you, and I'm like stoked to hear you still choosing to be that person, because it's so hard when we have these like beautiful flowers of humans who do get lost in like these societal expectations of you have to be with a man, so they find a shitty man that like drags them down,
Ruins them,
or a
yeah.
shitty band or environment that drags them down, and it happens to all of us. That's how we learn to not do it. But
We're socialized to accept shitty things as
Yeah.
women. We're just like socialized to fix things for everybody else and accept whatever it is around you. Like, we just have to take it. I'm too bitchy for that. So I refuse to let my life be made more difficult than it naturally will be because I'm alive. If I can control any parts of my own joy, then I will, and I do. And that's just it. And while I'm doing that, I'm trying to puke joy on everybody else around me. So
Or
that's it. Piss it.
bum
Pee
butt.
joy
But
on
what
it.
did you say? Mud butt?
Mud
Mud butt.
Mud
Let
butt
me
it.
mud butt my joy all over you.
I'm piss spraying joy on all of your faces.
Oh, and I consent.
That should be a
I
merch
consent.
sticker. Just for future merch ideas.
Just me
Just
pissing.
blase, and it's Dani just pissing a rainbow of love like a Care Bear out of her vagina onto the crowd of people.
It's got to be really graphic.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can you think of
I would
any
buy
really
that.
good
Look
Dani
at his
like
face.
green room stories?
Green room
Or
stories.
any Dani story.
The one that I always go back to is the repeated episodes of you threatening to eat people's children from the stage.
I did do that. Yeah.
Threatening to
I-
what?
I
Eat
like
people's kids.
Oh, yeah, I love when you do that.
I like
Those
the
are delicious and chunky.
cannibal Danibal.
Cannibal Danibal.
That bit. I like.
See, another merch idea. Dani eating a child on stage.
Violence and depravity.
Your
makes
kid's
me
so
happy.
cute, I'm gonna eat it. And just like,
they're like chunky and they look soft and I don't like.
Go be
I
a
wanna,
chunky
like,
baby.
chew on them.
cuteness aggression defined by
the
Dani
earnest
Jackson.
sincerity in that statement.
It's so earnest.
You're
That's
saying
why.
it like it's such okay,
And I-
understandable.
I realized that I was like, I'm like,
You were,
like a
that's
rib, like a
yeah.
little like baby arm.
She has the same
Shit,
reaction
like,
to
rib,
puppies too.
It's true. They're so cute.
I understand.
I love that.
I frequently have kids' body parts in my mouth because I'm a nanny. That sounds
That
awful.
sounds so
really
weird.
bad.
Really
Yeah.
didn't sound good.
So weird.
Non-consensually, they just like ah! And I'm like, oh god, there's hepatitis C, but they're fucking covered in germs. It's awful.
Fucking
but I
cooties, man.
So
Kid
funny.
cooties are aggressive.
Yeah, I remember there was one time when that kid, I think it was 39 Days of July, when that kid came up and danced on the stage with us and Scram, and he was like, he got a leg up hat and he was like wearing it and dancing with us, and you were like, can we keep him? And I'm like, I think that's kidnapping Dani. Oh yeah, no, but can we keep him? Keep our little dancer. Like he was just into it. He was having a time.
I have a behind the scenes Danny story. I remember at the end of Pachina Bay, you and I we both had to pee, and then we like snuck off into the grass, and I was wearing a onesie, and I was like, where do I put all of this cow material? And then you just grabbed my like entire outfit that was by my ankles by the crotch, and I must have grabbed yours or somehow, but you were like balancing each other by like the crotch of our undies.
That's practical.
And still
Right there.
pissing. It
That's
was
a practical
magical.
feature.
And it worked.
Totally
Otherwise,
worked.
there would have been like drippage into the fabric.
Dude, hell no.
At Base
trying to work
Coast,
that
actually,
festival. I wanna
was
go
it
this
last
That's
year?
so nice.
I'm all up
I
in
was
Ben's
running off
DMs
into the
trying
woods
to work it.
to piss somewhere, and I was like down by the river in this like kind of dark area, and I go down there, and there's a girl there who's like squatting, and then as I got there, she like got up and was like, sorry. I was like, for what? She's like, oh, I was gonna pee, and then I got scared, and I was like, girl, what? Come back,
Together.
and brought her. I was like, no, bitch, I'm gonna piss too, so we're gonna piss together, okay? And she's like,
Whether we're in a club or in the bushes,
we-
we're all girls in the bathroom.
so we like was like squatted facing each other, held hands, and pissed together, and I was like,
Oh,
girl.
this actually
We're
reminds
pissing
me of
together,
another.
Girl.
And then we got up and walked out, and she was like, their friends were like, you okay? And she's like, yeah, we peed together. I was like, I'm here for you, babe.
Dani, do you remember the tall tree eye contact story?
Yeah.
Don't you realize
That was
pissing is
another
my...
Jay.
Every time our buddy Jay would go pee, you'd
No,
hear
it was when
Dani-
I
you
would
would go
pee.
pee, but we'd hear someone would yell from the tent. It became a thing where it was like back. It was both. I would just hear Dani being yelled, "Eye contact!
Jay.
Make eye contact!"
Because I pee behind this.
Oh,
There was like
God.
this big rock that I would like pee behind, and like the first time I had my accident, I was just like squatting, but like I just happened to be like eye level and could see, and I was Jay. I'm pissing right now. And then so every time I went to pee from then on, I was like, Jay, where are you, Jay? And so one time that he didn't look me in the eyes, I tripped and like I fell and like some backward somersault like, into a
It's like,
rose bush.
you had to look me in the eyes.
Truly, it was like a balance thing in the
Oh.
end. So
That's so.
So
funny.
I'm having a realization. You know how people's love languages are like acts of kindness, words of affirmation? I think yours is just pissing.
Pissing.
I just want to share it with everybody.
Just want to involve you in my bathroom.
What's your love language? EP.
Pissing, honey.
I do it for you and me.
Yeah.
I take care of
Can you
you.
say Freudian regression?
Hey, Jay,
No.
I feed you and I.
No, thank you.
I love it.
Can you say it backwards?
I'm like trying to think.
I
right
literally
now,
just
like,
also tried to visit. It got really quiet because both of us tried to picture that backwards.
Nashegrar. Nashegrar Niedrauf.
Sounds like
Oh, my
German,
goodness, I love
Austrian, or
that.
something. You just drauf.
Okay.
This feels like a very good place to take these microphones away from us.
We could talk for hours.
I
Yeah,
could talk for
sure.
hours, but
This is an hour and 48 already. But
Nice.
But I did start it early because I was messing around
It's
with
okay.
sounds.
I want a big hefty chunk of Dani
Hefty
time.
chunk of Dan.
And I'm glad that you've shared so many different parts of your life that I didn't actually know about. It's been really
Mm-hmm.
juicy and
I feel very lucky to get your time.
And there's so much more. Well, I have to have
Yeah,
Danny on again
sure.
too because there's so many things.
Yeah, there's lots of there's my
there's so
daddy
many things.
issues.
Oh.
But and also just like
on the
there's
next
some of you-
episode of Squish.
Oh, yeah,
Danny
there's a whole
also
bunch.
has whole
You should just-
podcast episodes of her own that would be cool to collaborate on or something.
I was like, if you ever just want to come be the other third Squisher, you are more than welcome to.
We were talking about it
to.
already.
I would love to. I have literally like 48 episode ideas written out. But in the meantime,
And she's not a writer.
Well, I have.
You're a
it's like-
talker.
it's an idea.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you again.
Where can people find you on the internet? What's something you're proud of sharing and want people to find?
Our bands on Instagram at Blase Music. I don't use Facebook very much, so don't look for me there. I'm on Instagram at djax132. When you try to add me to Instagram, because I've been shadow banned for posting pro-Israel
Pro-Palestinian.
shit,
Pro-Palestinian.
because I'm like, stop killing people in Gaza, please.
Yeah.
They have, when you add me, there's a fucking warning that comes up. That's, are you sure
You
you
got
want
a
to add this
content
person?
warning, yeah.
They have posted blah,
Adding
blah,
her for
blah.
the content
And
warning.
I'm like,
It's like, this person stands up for human rights. Are you sure?
exactly. And the thing is, it's
Danny's
funny.
stories are top
They're,
notch too.
like,
Like it takes you on a journey. It's not just that. You
I
get all
go-
sorts of good stuff
yeah.
on Danny's Insta stories.
It's like a full
They-
afternoon sometimes.
You'd think I'd get some sort of warning where if they flag this post that this is verified to be untrue. That has not ever happened. And so for them to like just be like, okay, warning people not to add me because of the
That's
fraudulent
crazy.
shit that I'm posting, they have no point have they actually been able to flag any of it because it's literally videos from
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Gaza.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can add
That's
me. There's gonna be a
crazy.
warning that I'm cool, and I also post funny shit too.
I want friends with warnings. That means they're hardcore and they give a shit.
It's fun if you like remove me as a friend and add me again. You'll see it. It's
Just for
wild.
fun?
It's wild.
Just to see the warning. pop up.
I got my friend M to. She was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." Unfollow me and refollow
Wow.
me.
That's just
She's
so
like, "What the
crazy.
fuck?" Yeah, it's nuts.
It's
So
the world we live in.
it's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like really adamant about only positivity,
Joy,
putting out
babe.
joy, taking
You gotta
joy,
balance
and
it.
kicking the shit out of anything else that is not good. The
Yeah.
rest of it can go.
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
We love you.
We
Thank
love
you
you
for
Yeah,
listening
thank
to
you for coming on
Squish.
Squish. I also just wanted to. I looked up that quote because I was curious, so I'm just gonna recap that quote you said
Steinbeck.
earlier. Yeah. So from what
I
would you say it
finished
was
the
from?
book.
East of Eden.
Yeah, so from East of Eden, the quote that Danny was referencing earlier is, "It seems to me that if you or I must choose between two courses of thought or action, we should remember our dying and try so to live that our death brings no pleasure to the world." And that is very good advice.
What a nice note to end it on.
Hmm
In other words, don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
All right.
Hooray!
Cool.
All right.
We want to thank everyone who made Squish happen. Specifically, we would love to thank Elena Alstrom and Renata Baldwin for the wonderful background music for our intro and outro, as well as all of our vocal squishers who offered your cute little voices.
So adorable. We love you so much.
I want to thank Katie for editing together our intro and outro soundtrack.
And Tash for doing the video editing and a bunch of great graphic design work.
That's right, we're thanking ourselves because we fucking did this bitch. Yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around, and we hope to catch you on the next episode.
Heck yeah. Thanks to everyone for being part of it.
Love you. Love you.